Okay, Storm. I'm super excited for this. I think you are just such a gem. Um, we've seen you start in A Wrinkle in Time, Invisible Man, Don't Let Go. We see you killing it, flying fashionable at award shows and on red carpets. But when you're not doing those things, you're inspiring young girls to love themselves and to know that they're capable of doing anything through your initiative, Be Amazing. So, can you tell us how and why you started Be Amazing and tell us about it?
Yeah. Well, thank you for your kind words. I believe that my mom and I started to be amazing because I wanted to do more. I feel like after A Wrinkle in Time, I really saw or realized that my career was bigger than myself, and
Mhm.
to have young girls, whether they were DMing me, commenting on my Instagram post, or coming up to me in person and saying thank you for allowing me to see myself save the world, I was like, okay, I'm not doing it. I am doing it for myself because it's what I love to do, but I'm also doing it for so many young people. And I think we live in a society to where we are all about conformity, if that makes sense. So I wanted to create an initiative that just empowers young people and to let them know that they can be perfectly imperfect and they can embrace their flaws to be amazing. And I feel like my motto is, as long as you're a good person and you have a good heart, then you could do anything and you can succeed. So that's really why I created the hashtag, and it's really morphed into something else. So just something that empowers young people through positive self-declarations.
I love that. I love that. That is so powerful that you're thinking outside of yourself and understanding that you are more than the roles that you play and that you have so much value to bring to the world. So and you said it started as a hashtag?
Yes, it just started simply as a hashtag. I would like do an inspirational post on my Instagram and then just do hashtag be amazing. And then people started to catch on. They started to do it under their posts. So then we created a Instagram page, and it's just morphed into a whole thing where people just go to Instagram to find inspiration from Be Amazing.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, it's kind of created a life of its own, but I'm thankful for it.
I love it. I love it. And you know, like the entertainment industry can be so tough for so many reasons. Yet you're still navigating that space and have enough heart left to make sure you are doing things like Be Amazing. And I want to know, how do you thrive in your career without losing your character?
Ooh, I love that question. Well, I think that's a two-part answer for me. One, I couldn't do anything I do without my support system.
Mhm.
That being my family, my friends, my loved ones, just
Mhm.
uplifting me and empowering me. I couldn't do anything I do. But also, I feel like it was very important from a very young age that my mom instilled in me faith, and to just be spiritual. So that's really what grounds me. If I'm having a bad day, if I am not able to get in touch with my best friend or my friends back home, I have to really sit myself down and do a self-realization and say, yes, Storm, you can do this. And if you have a faith in a mustard seed, God will move mountains. Everything happens for a reason. This too shall pass. So there's just different things that I lean on to keep me grounded and keep me sane. Because I feel like if I didn't have faith, I don't know where I would be.
Yeah, that's important. So I think faith is one of those things that until it is tested, until it's tried and true, until you have to really operate in it yourself, it can sound like a cliche. Oh, like have faith or have faith in God, have faith in yourself. How
Mhm.
did it become real for you?
Ooh, I would say, like you just said, like it has to be tried and true, and this journey for me hasn't been easy. So I would say through the trials and tribulations where things got hard, where I felt like I couldn't do this anymore. There was a time in my career was I was not booking as many roles as I am now. Like, it takes time to get to the place where I am now, and it's going to take more time to get to where I want to be. But I know there's going to be more no's than yeses, and there's going to be opportunities where the door is closed, but I just know that another door will open. So I would say through those tough times, through those times where I felt like I was hopeless, or I wasn't going to get another acting gig, or I just wanted to move back to Atlanta because things weren't working out in my favor, that's when I really had to lean on not only my family, but lean on God, and just know that he has me through whatever. And if I wasn't gonna book another acting job again, then I knew he had a bigger plan for me.
Yes, ma'am. And so you said, there would be more no's than yeses. And we had a session with Megan Good yesterday, and she said the same thing. Like, for every yes she got 15 no's.
Mm-hmm.
What is so deeply rooted in you, in addition to faith, that doesn't knock you off your square? Because if you're only getting one yes to 15 no's, it can be easy to like question your value, question who you are, question if you're good enough. What things help you to stay anchored and not be like, dang, like maybe I don't have it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say my passion for the business, my passion for storytelling is what really keeps me anchored. Like, okay, I might be getting this no, but I know that this is something that I want to do. And I feel like that's only become stronger when I realize that I'm not only doing this for myself, I'm doing this for all the people that support me on Instagram. I'm doing this for all the young girls and all the young boys that look up to me, whether they watched A Wrinkle in Time or whether they watch Euphoria, or when they see us, wherever they found me first, and they feel inspired by me in a way. I'm doing this for them. So I can't give up, because we do live in a world where I feel like young people, especially right now, we are forced to grow up faster than other generations. So if I could be a source of inspiration to young people, then why not?
Right. You sound like you know that it's bigger than you.
Exactly.
So like, even if you are doubting yourself, you have that thought of like, well, this is bigger than me. Like, I gotta put on for more than just my ego of being told yes more than being told no.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I feel like if I didn't realize that, then I may have given up already. But I know that my career, like you said, is bigger than myself.
Yeah, you have something greater driving you. Have you ever felt like or experienced someone advising you to tell you to basically stay in your lane as an actor? You don't need to be amazing. You don't need to do all these initiatives. You need to focus on the main thing. Have you experienced that, and how did you respond to it?
Thankfully I haven't received that pushback. I feel like we're in a time now where most of the world is embracing young people using their voices, and speaking out. So I think me being more than just an actress has been accepted, and I'm so thankful for that. But if I were to receive that pushback, I would say, no, I know what I'm doing. I know that I have to use my voice for the voiceless. Not God doesn't give everybody a voice. God doesn't give everybody a platform. So he gave that to me, and I can't take that for granted. So if I do feel passionate about something that I want to speak out on, I'm going to do it. If I do a project that is impactful or does have a message, I'm going to do it, because again, I think I'm being repetitive, but this is bigger than me. I feel like I choose my projects so specifically, and I'm very strategic with what I do and what I align myself with, because I think I should be having progressive conversations in anything that I do. So to have that opportunity, I'm not just going to go do a film just so I could do it. I'm going to do a film that, yeah, it might be an action film, it may be a drama, it may be a comedy, but it's going to have purpose behind it. So I think purpose is driving everything that I do. And I would just tell the person straight up, like, no, you can stay in your lane, but this is what I'm doing over here.
How about you stay in your lane? Yeah,
Right.
I love that. I love that. I love that. You are so purpose-driven, purposeful. Like your values and your moral compass is what is guiding you. It guides the roles you take, the activities you do, things like this. Because you are rooted in values aligned with, you know, young women being empowered and progressing. You did this. Like it's helping to guide you on your career path. And I'm curious to know, like, have there ever been any opportunities where you were like, dang, like this is such a cool opportunity or such a cool role, but it was conflicting with those values?
Um, I would say yes and no. I have an amazing team that knows what I will and will not do. Like they know the things that are just not going to fly with me and my mom. Like they might be amazing projects, like you said, but it just doesn't match with my morals and values. I actually got a script the other day that was a great script, but it was just a little bit older. The character was doing a little bit older things that I wouldn't do or I don't see myself doing now as a 17-year-old, a new 17-year-old. So we respectfully pass, but I think my team does a great job of sending the things over that make sense, not only for my career, but make sense for me as a person, as a 17-year-old girl that is still growing up, that still has a lot to learn.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I think that because you have this moral compass that guides you, it's going to put you in direct alignment with what is divinely meant for you, because you are operating for the greater good. You're operating on behalf of God. He's using you as a vessel. Like you said, you have this platform and you're going to use it to the best of your ability to do what you're called to do. And today we want to help all of us on this call tap into our moral compass, you know, our inner guide, so that, you know, everyone can have some more clarity, gain some more clarity, some more purpose on their journey, so that they can secure the bag and they can stay grounded too on the path. So ladies, we're about to get into the workshop. You guys can turn your cameras back on, and then I'm going to share my screen in just a second, because we have some really nice slides to show you, ladies. Okie dokie. Danny, really quickly, I need you to give me access to share my screen. There we go. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. All right, y'all. So again, we wanted to give you guys a super tangible tool that you can actually use the next day. We don't want this to be something that you just learn and then you take it and then you may think about it a little bit later on. Like, no, we want y'all to put it to work so that your lives can be changed and impacted. So we often hear the question, and this is actually an exercise we do in the Menternship, you know, well, what makes you happy? That's what you should go do in life. Do what makes you happy, which, you know, we understand, we get it. But I find that one of the most thought-provoking questions you can ask yourself, you know, to lead to purpose is actually, what makes you sad? What makes you most sad? What makes you most angry? Specifically a societal issue. So, for example, for me, it really hurts my heart when I see women abused physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, when I see that there is a lack of confidence, when I see lack of purpose, and people in general, but specifically for women, that hurts my heart in deep, deep ways. And yes, there are things like I don't want to see starving children. I don't want to see poverty. There's a lot of things that aches my heart. But when I sit with myself, I can see like, oh, like things related to women and women being empowered or disempowered, that's what really pulls your heartstrings. Thus the Menternship was birthed. So Storm,
Yes.
what social issues make you most sad and angry?
Yeah, like you said, there's so many things that go on in the world that break my heart. But I would have to say, when I see young people afraid to be unapologetically themselves, that really hurts my heart, because I feel like I've been blessed and have the opportunity to just be outspoken, whether that's at home or in my career. I voice my opinion, and I know that most, or some, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of young people are not that comfortable doing that. And it really affects, I mean, all young people, but it really affects me seeing young Black and brown kids having to go through that. And I think it intersects with them seeing people like George Floyd or Elijah McClain, or just all the countless innocent Black people who have been disproportionately penalized for just existing. I think that has to do, or that coincides directly with not having the confidence that they deserve to have. So that's why I try to choose my project specifically, and that's why we created Be Amazing.
Yeah, Be Amazing speaks directly to that heart pull. And
Mhm.
ladies, what you'll find is that you have that passion, that deep heartache for a reason. God is very intentional. When he created you, he was like, all right, this girl is going to change the world in this capacity. So I'm going to make sure she has a soft heart for this, that she has a passion for this, that she loves this, that she hates this. It's all for a reason. So we want to encourage you guys, you know, if you don't have to answer right now, that's fine. This is for you to sit with. We're going to send you this deck afterwards, but see what those things are, because you have them for a reason. The next one is, what are your passions? So think of these things like hobbies, things you like to do for fun. Storm, what would these be for you?
Ooh, I mean, of course, acting is my main passion, but my sister and my mom and I, we have a production company, so that's become a new passion of ours, or a new passion of mine, just producing projects and be able to own intellectual property. I think that's so powerful.
Yeah,
um, and I want to be a filmmaker one day, at least try. If I don't succeed, then I'll just go back to acting and
you
producing.
will succeed, girl.
Yes, but I think that's a passion that I'll have, or a deeper passion that I'll have down the line.
Absolutely. And then just to ask you more about that, do you
Mhm.
know if you want to make certain types of films? Is there going to be a motive or a certain message between the films with the films that you create in the future?
Of course, I think they will all be rooted in, of course, my morals and values, and wanting to create purposeful projects and have impactful messages. But I mean, if I succeed, I think I would want to do an action film, a drama, a comedy, a rom-com, all of the above.
That's a good one. I love
Yeah.
that. And the reason I asked is because that little bullet right there, well, not bullet, the little note right there that says, ask yourself, how are my hobbies connected to the societal issue that makes me most sad and angry? You just answer that. So you're like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do comedies and rom-coms and action movies, but I'm going to always make sure that it's rooted back to your morals and your values and your greater purpose and your greater mission. And this is a
Exactly.
perfect example of tying those two together.
Right.
All right. Um, Furthermore, guys, and again, you can circle back to this slide. If you want to do a little bit bigger, if you want to do more deep digging, you can ask yourself, can I make a business out of these passions? So if Storm was like, well, I want to make film. Oh yeah, you can make a business out of that. You can start a production company. Like you could become a writer for film. Like it's a ton of different things you can do. You can ask yourself, is there someone who already made a business out of this that I could work for? Maybe you don't want to go the entrepreneurial route. Maybe it would be smart for you to go work for a company that's already doing it so that you can activate your purpose within that space. Or you can ask yourself, how can my current sphere of influence be used for my, like, how can I put my purpose in my current sphere of influence? Maybe it's not time for you to go to a new job. Maybe you're still in college and you're like, okay, like I'm not at work. I don't have time to start a business, but how can you show up in your student orgs? How can you show up as a better daughter, a better friend, a better sister, whatever? How can you activate that purpose and passion in whatever space you're in? So definitely, you know, take some time to sit on these questions and see what you come up with. This next slide is another exercise that we do, and it's having you identify important values. And I know that this is a hard thing to do, and this list isn't even as many values as there are. But if you guys had to choose 5 that were most important to you, what would they be? And I know it's like, okay, of course, all of these things are important to me, but which ones, if they were just like, no, like you can't have them all, you only can have 5, which ones would be the most important to you? And just go with what you feel in your heart, what you feel most pulled to. And we'll show you how these tie in soon. But Storm, of this list, and guys, even if you don't see a value on here, feel free to write your own in. But Storm, which top 5 are most important to you and why?
Yeah, I would say confidence. I think that goes back to be amazing, and building not only the youth's confidence or trying to help build the youth's confidence, but I don't wake up every day with my confidence on 100%. So I think it's just like a everyday extra, I wouldn't say a struggle or a battle, but an everyday exercise to just be as confident as I can be. I'm not just being confident for myself, because I feel like I would be way less confident if I was just being confident for myself. I have to be confident for other people so they can feel their confidence. So confidence, I would say endurance. I think that goes back to the conversation we were having of just like being able to persevere and knowing that, yes, I am going to get a lot of no's, but those yeses will come. And as long as I endure and I try to, I would say, stick it out, or just, I feel like endurance kind of goes back to faith for me, and just like knowing that everything will be okay and whatever is meant to be will be mine and nobody can take that away from me. Love, I mean, I love what I do, but I think I love what I do is because I have not only the love for acting and storytelling and being able to inspire people, but like the love that I have for my family, the love that I have for my supporters, the love that I have for my community, and just an overarching idea of love that I want the world to embrace. I think we won't be able to make any type of change without love. So like love over hate, love over indifference, love over ignorance. I think that is so powerful. The next value I would say is power. I think I have been able to embrace my power as a young person very well. And of course, I just didn't do that by myself. I would say conversations like this, or my siblings, or my mom, my dad, just people in my corner, just like letting me know that I do have power and I have the platform, and I have I would say the means to use my power, and not a lot of people have that. So I don't take that for granted. And then my last one would be purpose. And we talked about that a lot, just having a purpose through anything you do, whether that's acting, going about every day, like doing good deeds, and just having a purpose in life. I don't feel like you can get too far without purpose, whether that's purpose for others or purpose for yourself.
Facts. I love it. Okay, so what we wanted to do was put together a template for you guys to plug in, you know, passions, purpose, and values. Because part of why, Storm, you're able to be like, no, it's always going back to my purpose and my moral compass is because that's been ingrained in you. You mentioned at the very start, you know, your mother instilled faith in you, and that has carried you very, very far. And getting that ingrained deep in your spirit, deep in your heart, like it makes it stay. So we want to help you guys to make this stuff stick too. So what we did was we put together this template self-contract. And so you'll see it says, you'll fill in your name, vow to value my character more than my career. My identity is not rooted in a title, but in who I am. I commit to operating with, then you'll insert your values. I will use my passion for whatever that passion, that hobby is, to create change. I'll make both money and impact, building as I climb to my success. And, you know, Storm and I's goal was not to be like, oh, we're going to help you identify your purpose in life. Now you're going to be straight for the rest. Like, no, it's going to be a journey. You guys are going to again, this is just like a compass, because if you guys see this every day and see that you have these values and you see you have this passion and you get an opportunity, whether it be a job, an internship, a cool project, and it's not aligned with these values, you know it's not for you. Because this is what you're going to build your foundation on. This is what you're choosing to ingrain in you. And it can absolutely lead to clarity of purpose. But until you take the steps to identify, okay, wait, like, who am I? What am I standing on? What are the principles that are leading and guiding my life and my career? You won't have any direction. It'd just be like you're going through life aimlessly. Like if we decided, Storm, if we got in the car and, you know, we didn't know where we were going, like we didn't know we wanted to get somewhere. If we were like, okay, let's go. What's your favorite food?
Sushi.
Okay, Storm, let's go get some sushi at this sushi spot. It's about an hour away. Let's go. What would be the first thing we would do if we don't know how to get there? Like literally, if we're going anywhere, we don't know how to get there. What do people do in the car when they don't know where?
You put it in like MapQuest or Waze or Google Maps or whatever, like GPS.
Yeah, you GPS it because you need some direction on where to go. You're not about to just get in the car and be like, I certainly hope that I get to this restaurant. Like that would make no sense. But yet we do the same thing in life. We just drive through it. We just go through life wanting to achieve success, but not sitting back and taking the time to say, let me type this out, do a search so that I can have some guidance and get where I need to go. We want y'all to use this self-contract as your GPS to help guide you and direct you to the destination. You might hit some red lights, you might get some stop signs, you might get some detours, some construction, but that doesn't mean that you're on the wrong path. It just means life is lifing, and that's totally okay. And so that you guys can see this and how it will look when you fill it in, we have Storm's filled out self-contract. Can you read it to us?
Yes. I, Storm Reid, vow to value my character more than my career. My identity is not rooted in a title, but in who I am. I commit to operating with confidence, endurance, love, power, and purpose. I will use my passion for storytelling and acting to create change. I will make both money and impact, building as I climb to my success.
Boom. So y'all see how that ties into everything that she does. It's going to be, it's her guiding light from the world she takes to the things that she does on a regular basis. So we hope that was helpful for you guys. Our next portion is going to be just a Q&A. And so there's a feature on here where you can raise your hand. So we'll just do that. I'll call on people. You guys can ask questions to Storm, ask questions to me, whatever you guys need. And we'll spend the rest of our time doing that. So who got questions? Dinah, like China.
Yes. So my question is, I know this, Storm, when you were talking, you referred back to a Bible verse, the mustard seeds. I recognize that. And I'm curious about how your faith has helped you through this moment specifically, having to deal with the pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement as you continue to navigate through your career.
Yes. Oh, I love that question. Well, the Matthew 17:20, that's my favorite verse. I got it tattooed. So, I mean, I like it. But I think my faith has kept me grounded through this time. I'm not saying it has been easy. There's just been days where I felt hopeless, days where I've sat in the car and cried because I just felt like, one, I mean, I'm healthy. I think it's a really privileged thing to say, like, I'm sitting in the house, there's nothing to do. I've been working, but there's just days where I just want other human interaction other than my sister and my mom and my dogs. But also, it was like a couple of days after George Floyd's death and all the protests started to happen. And I felt hopeless. Like, I can't go outside. I can't go out and protest and get on the front lines. There's nothing I could do to make his family feel better. There's nothing I could do to make his daughter feel better, even though she's young. Like, she's going to have to grow up with this burden on her that I can't even fathom or even begin to explain. But I feel like that's when I sat myself down and I had to do some more self-realizing and really say, Storm, this is so unfortunate. We're going through a pandemic, and then we're experiencing, I feel like, the largest civil rights movement right now in 2020. And that's a lot to wrap your head around as a 16-year-old. Like, I just turned 17 2 weeks ago. So I was still 16 at this point. But I'm like, okay, this too shall pass. We won't forget about these moments, but I am thankful to be alive. I am thankful to be healthy. And I know that God has got not only me, but he has his angels around the entire world. And this is going to get fixed. And I know that's easier said than done. And there's days where I'm like, why is this happening? But I have to go back to, everything happens for a reason. And as long as I have that tiny amount of faith that things will change and he will move mountains. So I hope that answered your question. I think I just tried to say that not every day is easy, but I think it's just sitting myself down and talking myself through what I already know.
Thank you. And happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
I see Joy.
Oh, hi. So my question for you is so as a Black woman in America, we are all very well aware of struggles and trials. I was wondering if you've ever felt held back by it, and if so, how you progressed through it and shown others that it's not something to be ashamed of, I guess. No, not ashamed of, but something to hold back.
Yeah. Thankfully, no. Um, I mean, I think I have, how do I put this? I think I have privileged, like, I think I have a privilege to not experience some things that other people experience, if that makes sense. But I feel like through my journey, I've felt very liberated, like having Miss Ava be in my corner, having Miss Oprah be in my corner to like lift me up and say, like, you are a young Black girl in this industry that is doing the darn thing, and we need you to continue to do so. And to see other young African-American girls like Yara Shahidi or Zendaya or Marseille Martin doing the same thing that I'm doing, and just trying to make a change through their art or through anything that they do, but still being unapologetically themselves. I feel like that's been very liberating to see. So thankfully I haven't experienced or felt like I've experienced like having to hold back or that has set me back in a way. But you never know. I mean, I think as I continue to grow and as I become older, it will only get harder. But having people who inspire me will really help me get through it, if that makes sense.
It does. Thank you.
Siobhan.
Hello. So this is actually more of like a businessy question, and it was kind of meant for you, Alexis, but Storm, I think you could answer too. Um, so this year, once school starts back up, I'm gonna be like the producer of a show. And so I was wondering, like, how do you run a team, being in the highest position? Like, because I know, Alexis, you're the president of this org. So how me being a producer is like me being the president. So like any tips on just how to be, the boss
Yeah,
and the leader?
I definitely want Storm to speak to this too, because you in her field too. But for me, um, learning how to trust that your team got you is going to take off a lot of weight, and making sure that you have the right people around you. If you get people, never put people on your team out of place of desperation, because that means you're immediately out of alignment. And that's actually a lesson I learned this year, of feeling like, oh, there's so much that has to be done with the mentorship. We want to do all these things. I need help, God, I need help. And, so it was just like, I was just asking people, asking friends who joined and helped me off the strength of, okay, Lex, I love you, but not because they were aligned with the mentorship. And it caused friction, and it caused, it just knocked things off. So my big lesson has been, never bring people on out of a place of desperation. And that if you have God leading you, then you'll be able to properly lead your team. And then just make sure you develop yourself. Read books on leadership, read books on management, learn how to really sit with yourself and assess your strengths and weaknesses. So then you'll know, like I tell my team all the time, like, you better at this than me. Please do it. I'm not gonna be good at it. Can you do it? And like, be okay with not being good at everything. Your job isn't to be good at everything. Your job is to lead and to delegate and to empower your team to do their job in fullness. And that very last thing of like empowering your team, if your team doesn't feel valued and seen, and like you believe in them, they're not going to perform well. They're not going to show up. So make sure that, like, when you have opportunity, to make them feel seen and to acknowledge the greatness that they're bringing to your company, that you do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing, to piggyback off what Alexis said, just trusting your team, but also, even though you are the producer and you're supposed to be the head honcho, you're supposed to be in charge, you're going to have pushback, and there's going to be people that test you. There's going to be people who just don't agree with you and are going to give you a hard time. But I think you shouldn't back down. My sister always tells me to stand my ground. So stand your ground. And if it's something that you firmly believe in, you should fight for that. And of course, you shouldn't have a work environment where having a disagreement with somebody is going to create for a bad work environment or bad energy, or makes you not want to show up to do your job. So I think it is good for a little bit of pushback, but just know that you have the power and you have the ability to voice your opinion, and you shouldn't let somebody, just because they have the same position as you or a position under you, or even one of the, I don't know what your show is, but even one of the actors or the people that are on the crew, you should listen, but you should also like know what you want and feel comfortable with voicing that.
Yeah, I think I'm good at knowing what it is that I want and putting my foot down, so that won't be a problem. But I think besides people, I'm also going to have like a whole issue with COVID, because usually in the past, the show was ran and like 500 people plus were allowed to come see it. So now I have to figure out how to do it, in the regulations of COVID. So that's going to be an issue, but I think I'm up for it.
Yes, you'll do great.
Thank you.
You absolutely will. Thank you, girl. Let me see. Ebony.
Hello. Okay, so my question, I literally wrote down my question like in the interview, so like 3 minutes into when like you guys started talking. What kind of advice or like tangible tips, tools would you give someone who hasn't quite realized that their passion or hobby is something that's bigger than themselves? Because like my passion, I'd like to think bigger than myself, but like when you get kind of knocked down and you're struggling with that imposter syndrome, I would love to know what I can look for to kind of get out of myself.
Yeah. I would say it took a long time. I mean, I've been acting since I was 3. And A Wrinkle in Time didn't come out until 2 years ago. So it took a while, and it still takes some time to like get outside of my head and realize that this is not only for me. But I don't know, maybe Alexis can speak to this, but I didn't realize that on my own. It was not until these young people came up to me and said, "Thank you for doing this for me." So I mean, I think my only advice to your question would just be make sure that you fall in love with what you're doing. I think that really helps me, is like, I'm in love with storytelling. And I know that is mostly a universal thing, and that's how people connect. So that's how I know that I'm doing the right thing. Like, I'm in love with it, but also people are connected to stories, and stories can change one's life. So I think that's how I kind of approach it sometimes. But I mean, it was just really other people coming up to me and saying, "Thank you for doing this." And that's when I realized it. I don't think it was a thing to where I was like, okay, yes, this is bigger than myself because I'm doing this particular thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I can speak to it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And just so I can make sure I understand your question, you're saying, because I heard you say, how do you get outside of yourself to see, like, no, you actually do have something in you that's bigger than just you, that will bring value to the world. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's such a loaded, layered question. And I will say that it has to be something that you intentionally do every day. So subconsciously, our subconscious mind, and I'm gonna go a little deep real quick, but I'm gonna keep it simple. Our subconscious mind takes in everything we see, whether we want it to or not. So I want to ask you, and this is rhetorical, but like, what content are you taking in? Who are you listening to? Who are you allowing to speak over your life? What books are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? What music are you listening to? Are these things that are building you up, keeping you where you are, or holding you back? Because if they're not building you up, you should not expect for you to wake up and feel like you have something to bring to the world. Are you telling yourself your values, your moral compass, what you stand for, how you're going to make impact and purpose every day? If you're not, you shouldn't expect that you're just going to naturally feel like that. And this is the internal hard work that can really change the game. This self-contract, I promise you, and I want you to actually email me, hit me, Instagram me. I want you to read that in the morning, at your middle of your day, and at night. First thing in the morning, last thing before you go to bed. So it's the first and last thing on your mind. I want you to read that for a week straight and tell me how you feel after that. Because if you're not affirming it in you, you may luck up and get someone to affirm it for you. You may cross paths with someone who will, but you have to do that for you, because you have that power and you have the tools. You on this, baby, you must got something in you. You on this call with Storm Reid and 14 other amazing, beautiful Black and brown, brilliant young women. You guys were selected divinely. You're not here by chance. Even this conversation, you were supposed to be here right now. This is divine that you're here. This tells you that there is something bigger in you. This conversation was meant when you were formed in your mother's womb. God knew on this day, July 16th, she's going to be on this call. And I need her there for a reason, because I need to ignite something in her. You have purpose in you. The fact that you even asked the question is a signal that there is something in you and that it's ready to come out, and you're thinking about it. So it's there. You just got to tap in. And again, it's a loaded question. It's layered. So maybe we can circle after this call. Like I said, like hit me up, like I'm here, I'm available, I'm accessible to you, and we can talk through it. But I want you to read that self-contract every day, 3 times a day, and let me know how you feel afterwards. Does that help?
Yes, thank you guys so much.
Of course. Zuri.
Yes, hi. So when you were talking about, getting one yes and 15 no's, when you do get that yes, it's like a feeling of goodness and you want to celebrate. But how do you navigate when your friends get the no and it's kind of like you feel that guilt of celebrating when you've worked hard for it, but it's still like, oh, I don't really want to say it a lot, even though I should be happy about it. How do you kind of figure that out? Because that's something that I've been struggling with. Even for this, it was like, I got it, but I mean, it's okay if you don't want to like talk it. How do I kind of figure out how to get rid of that type of guilt?
That's an interesting question. 'Cause it might sound weird, but I don't like unnecessary attention on myself, if that makes sense. Like, I know people are like, well, you're an actress, like there's attention, like you're in the public eye, there's attention on you. But I don't like to create unnecessary attention on myself. I don't go around saying I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I don't like to brag. Like, that's just not my thing. But like, I do feel comfortable with telling people like, this happened, like I got this role, or I'm doing this, or I just sold this project. And I wouldn't say like I'm not a people pleaser. But I think that goes into one, knowing, and like all my friends knowing that whatever is for me, and you can't take that away from me. And also just aligning myself with people that are genuinely happy for me. So I don't feel a type of way when I'm sharing this news, like, oh my, like they might feel some type of way because they didn't get the same opportunity or this, that, and the third, because they are genuinely happy for me. So they are going to be excited. They're going to hype me up. They're going to do a happy dance with me. And they're not going to feel uncomfortable with my light in that moment, if that makes sense. So I would say just like surrounding yourself with people that, like, without a shadow of a doubt are going to hype you up and just say, yes, I am proud of you. And you are going to do that for them in return. So I think I have a great support system and a great group of friends that we're in the same industry, but they hype me up and they support me through whatever. And they know that I worked really hard to get to the place that I am, and they respect that, and I respect them. So there's just it goes without saying, like, yeah, you're proud of me, and I'm not going to question that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Destiny.
Okay, so I am a music artist and I'm a hip hop artist, and my music doesn't have like any sexual content or like vulgar stuff, and I find it hard to like fit into the music industry now as a female rapper. So I was just trying to find any tips to, like, I don't know, still keep going and thrive, knowing that like a lot of people aren't like me. So I'm not really sure if people would really like my music for real, but
you just said something so powerful. You said, not a lot of people are like me. You should embrace that. You should be, I know it's easier said than done, but be unapologetically yourself and know that you have something unique. And yeah, all these other rappers are talking about what they're talking about, but you can set the bar for something different. You could be super duper talented. You could be talking about whatever you're talking about. And you're not conforming. I think there's something so powerful in that. So I know it can be a struggle because you want your music to take off and you feel like maybe if you say this and that, that people relate to it more. But I would just say you don't have to do that. I'm pretty sure that you are extremely talented, and I am rooting for you. And I support you, and just know that you can be different, and that's okay. I feel like if we were all the same, then the world would be boring. So you could step out on faith and know that whatever you're talking about is for a purpose. You feel it in your heart to convey that message. So that's all that matters. And there's going to be people out there that are going to love that and accept that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Love it. Angelia.
Hi, Storm. So, I wanted to ask you, you as a young woman in an industry where so many people have come before you, or you probably have a lot of people telling you what you should do or what you should be. I think everybody at every age will be in a position where they're the youngest or they're the newest to an industry or a space. How do you make sure that you hold your confidence in who you are, and you, whether you're younger or not, what you want or what you're bringing to the table, and not let others around you kind of stifle that because you're young, being confident in that?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, I think that it goes back to my purpose, but I know that I'm doing this for a reason, and nobody can get in the way of that. Like, whether they have an opinion on what projects I should be doing, or what I should and should not be saying, or the content that I am creating, I feel like, yes, if you're trying to pour into me, I'm going to accept your advice wholeheartedly. But if I feel like you're trying to give me backhanded compliments, or you're trying to get in the way of my goals and what I'm trying to do and the legacy that I'm trying to leave, then there's no need to listen to you, if that makes sense. Not being rude, not being disrespectful, whether you're my same age or you're my elder. Yes, I will listen to you, but that doesn't mean I have to follow the advice that you're giving me if it doesn't align with who I am and my support system. I have an amazing group of people that back me up, like, aside from my team, my family, who we're having constant conversations on how I can stay confident, and how I can continue to be myself throughout this process. So I would say, if there's anybody in your life who is giving you advice, but you really don't feel like it's genuine or it's coming from a good place, yeah, you can listen, but you don't have to follow what they're saying. You could continue to do what you're doing, and have a passion for it, have a love for it, and remain confident in knowing that you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it to make your dreams come true. I think that should be enough.
That was great. Thank you.
It looks like we have time for just one more question. I want to be respectful of your time, Storm. So, Kaylin, take us home.
Hi, thank you. Okay. So this question is for Storm. I would like to know how you know when you're ready to go after the next opportunity. Like, for me right now, I just graduated college. Like, I want it all, but thank you. And I just want to know, like, how to stay patient, or just how to realize that, okay, obviously 22, nothing is going to come to me all at once. So how do you just know when you're ready to go after the next big thing?
Ooh, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, your word to describe yourself was imaginative, right?
Caring.
Okay, caring. Okay, I'm sorry. Well,
Okay.
I would say, I mean, I think it's all about creativity, and like, knowing what I think you know what you want to do. Like you said, you're ready to take on the world. So I would say, like, knowing what you want to do, and having goals, like Alexis said, like, following that self-contract will help you gain confidence and passion, and you will, I think, come away from reading that 3 times a day,
Right.
every day, with with more confidence, knowing what you want to do, and just having a little bit or understanding your purpose, if that makes sense. So I would say just sitting yourself down and maybe writing your goals down, praying about it, whatever your process is, and saying, okay, these are the goals that I want to achieve. So how am I going to do that? What are the steps that I'm going to take to get to the point where I want to get to? You can't just say, oh yeah, I want to win an Oscar. Like, I could say that all day, but if I don't do the work to get to that, then I'm not going to get on that Oscar stage, and I'm not going to be able to cry on stage. I mean, I've already imagined it, cry on stage and be able to do the whole thing. I'm not going to be able to get to that. So I think it's all about knowing what you want, knowing your dreams, your hopes, your goals, and really following them, but having action steps and realizing that it's not going to be easy. Like, there's going to be times where you just hit a wall, you're not going to know what to do, you're not going to know where to go, but as long as you lean on yourself and hopefully you have people around you that are pouring into you, that are empowering you, that are inspiring you, you'll get to where you want to go. So I think it's just all about having a plan and knowing what you want to do. And I know I keep on saying that, but I feel like it's all about knowing, realizing, and then going after that, like achieving that.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yes, and congratulations on graduating. That's so cool.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a great question, and so that was a great answer. We really hope that you guys have enjoyed the time thus far. We really want y'all to implement what you heard today. And we know that self-contract looks super simple, right? But it's going to be a very, very powerful tool, especially if you guys, it's only going to be powerful if you read it. It's only going to be powerful if you acknowledge it every day. Because again, your subconscious is controlling what you do when you don't even know you're doing it. So imagine if you can put in the conscious effort to read it and to go attain your goals. But then you can literally hack into your subconscious mind and get it to work on your behalf too. And that's what that self-contract is going to do for you, ladies. So it's powerful. And you guys will find that the most simple things in life are always the ones that are most profound. So we didn't give y'all no crazy formula to follow for success. The sauce is to have values and to let them guide you and to identify what you're going to stand for and what you're going to aim for. Because that direction to get you where you want to go. So make sure, like, as you guys do this, post on Instagram, tag Storm, tag the Menternship, tag me so that we can see your progress. Like, we are genuinely rooting for you. Like, Storm took time out of her day to come and sit with you all because she actually cares. So we want to see y'all eat. We want to see y'all win. And Storm, thank you so much. You are such a beautiful light, and you are a special girl. And you're gonna be you already are a legend in the game, but your legacy is going to be huge because you're thinking for people outside of you. You're thinking about the world and all God has called you to do. So I'm so thankful. You were amazing. We love you and we thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. I had an amazing time, and just know that I'm rooting for you. And I believe in y'all, and I know that y'all will do great things. I know that most of y'all are in college, so y'all are older than me, but know that, like, I find inspiration in having conversation like these, and just being able to see all of y'all's faces really inspires me to just keep on going, and knowing that I'm doing something right. I might not be doing all things right, but I'm doing something right. So thank you guys for the opportunity, and thank you for taking the time to listen to little old me.
Absolutely. We love you. Thank you, Storm.
Thank you. Love you guys. Bye.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.